It's 4 p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Edlin Gao. Some stories you're watching this Tuesday, October 28. Several senators have released their SALNs, or their statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth. Senator Raffy Tulfo and his wife topped the list as the richest at over 1 billion pesos in assets, followed by his brother, Senator Erwin Tulfo, with nearly 497 million pesos. Senators Rizzo Ontiveros and Chis Escudero declared the lowest net worths of almost 19 million pesos each. Those who have not yet made their SALNs public include Senators Amy Marcos, Alan Peter Cayetano, Bato de la Rosa, Jinggoy Estrada, Jinggoy Estrada, Bongo, Rodante Marcoleta, Camille Villar, and Mark Villar.
The Philippine peso slid to a 10-month low of 58.9 against the US dollar Monday, October 27. So this marks the peso's lowest close since December 18, 2024, when it settled at 58.99. So we're a hair's breadth away. The Bangko Sentral maintained that the country's strong foreign reserves and steady inflows from remittances, BPOs, and tourism will continue to support the local unit. And it added that the peso's recent weakness could be reflecting market concerns over slower economic growth and expectations of further policy easing. Malacanang said that President Bongbong Marcos did not order a price freeze on basic goods, but instead directed the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, to just strictly monitor commodity prices. Palace Press Officer Yusek Claire Castro said the president instructed the DTI to work closely with manufacturers to prevent price hikes on basic and prime goods until the end of the year. Castro emphasized that the policy is focused on monitoring and coordination, not on imposing a price freeze.
The armed forces confirms that the clash in Tipo-Tipo, Basilan is a clan war-related conflict between local groups from nearby barangays. The AFP says the provincial government, the MLF leadership, and security forces are working to de-escalate tensions and restore order in the area. It also assured the public that troops are coordinating with the PNP and local officials to ensure civilian safety and prevent further violence.
And President Marcos will attend the 32nd Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in South Korea. That's from October 30 to November 2nd. And that's coming right after the ASEAN Summit in Malaysia, which he is attending right now and for which the closing ceremonies are underway. The Foreign Affairs Department said the president will meet with business leaders and executives in South Korea to discuss economic issues and secure investment pledges for the Philippines. As of now, there are no bilateral meetings scheduled between Marcos with U.S. President Donald Trump or Chinese President Xi Jinping.
The so-called king and queen of contractors, Curly and Sara Diskaya, can no longer qualify as state witnesses. That's according to the Office of the Ombudsman. Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano says the couple's refusal to cooperate with the Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or the ICI, was the last straw. Clavano also found that the Diskaya's affidavit submitted to the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee as too shallow, as there was no solid evidence or supporting documents to back it up. For now, the couple will be stripped of government protection. The Justice Department earlier provided them security and personnel after the Diskayas provided a list of personalities allegedly involved in anomalous flood control projects.
Kung gusto talaga nila na maging uncooperative, then the government has no choice but to run after them with every ounce of effort that we can muster. Lahat po talaga ng kabalastugan ng DPWH pinasukan na talaga ng Diskaya. So I don't think they're in any position to bargain with the government, especially with their status as state witness. It's beyond that already dahil sa nakita ho nating ebidensya. Tignan na lang ho natin kung hindi pa rin sila magko-cooperate kung nakakulong na sila.
Bakit kabalastugan ng pag-pronounce niya?
Bayaan mo na.
Huh?
Kaya mo na.
Pronunciation siguro.
Mabalis.
Just read the prompter.
Baka nasa lista eh.
Siguro nga.
Na hindi naman school according to you.
Sige na. Let's read the prompter na nga. Let's read the prompter.
Saan mo na yung prompter?
And joining us today, ang tao nagsasabi siya ay masamang damo. Kaya ko nagsabi na na. Political heckler.
Oh, ikaw fake news ka talaga. No, we were talking before the...
Hindi, siya nagsasabi.
Ang sabi ko lang, hindi ako mabuting damo.
Oo, so clarify ko, sabi
sorry.
ko...
May nuancing pala. So,
Oo, may nuance. So, clarify ko, I said, so inaamin mo na masamang damo ka.
sabi
Sabi ko,
sabi
hindi
mo,
ako
sabi niya,
mabuting damo. Siya kasi mabuting damo. Yun yung unang natutuyo. Damo.
Whatever that means.
naiiyan ng kambing.
konting mainit na
Teka,
araw lang.
pakilala muna natin ikaw. Ang ating resident political heckler, Tito Raul Llamas.
Mga pinininim, nag-heckle na eh, no?
Magandang hapon po. Sensya na po.
And
Ito
also,
kasing katabi ko. Pinoprovoke ako.
ako'y nagproprovoke. Sino ba yung pinag-usapan natin kanina?
Naku, yun naman
Nako,
tayo. Gusto mo tayong pag-usapan dito?
Okay.
Pwede ba? Pwede ba?
Pwede.
Pwede?
Ano
Ito yung kanila.
Bahala kayo.
Pati yung orientation.
tayo.
And from the Philippine Star, of course, we've got Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, Ami.
Hi everyone.
Sorry, Ami,
Happy
magulo yung mga kasama ko
Tuesday.
rito eh.
Ami, hinaharas ako rito.
Ha.
Hinaharas ako ng dalawa.
Ba't ba ako nangaharap sa'yo?
Harassable ka ba? Pwede ba maharap?
Kaya
nga
Ikaw
eh.
ang haras
Di marinig.
dyan.
Di ba?
That's,
Hoy, pakilakas ang audio para kay Ronald. Di marinig
Hindi
Ronald.
marinig.
Direct.
Ikaw ang
pakilakas ang-
nanghaharas dyan eh. Haras.
Ayan.
Pwede ka ba i-haras?
exactly. That's like a...
Tingin ko mga
Di ka raw
pakawala.
Wolf
victim,
crying
di ka raw
wolf.
Tingin ko
perpetrator.
mga pakawala ni Snow White ito eh.
Sino
Nakita niyo ba yan?
Tunay ba yun? Di ba
Pakita mo
AI
yun, Ami,
yun?
yung Snow White.
Tunay.
Di ba AI yun?
Mukhang
Tunay yun?
tunay.
Hindi,
Yes.
tunay.
It was-
Mga
Tunay.
party.
That's a real video.
Bakit parang ang lapad-lapad?
Tunay. Buta lapad-lapad.
Si Ami talaga. Ikaw wala ka talagang kaano-ano.
May body shaming pa eh. no?
Wala ka sa...
Parang hindi.
Oh, yeah.
Talaga pinakita pa yung video eh.
You mean mukhang stretched?
Mukhang
Hindi,
Fiona.
parang hindi siya eh.
No, that's
Parang
just
hindi
a,
siya.
mukhang that's just a costume. Siguro yung costume is medyo
Yung-
Are
layered.
we really gonna watch this the whole time?
Yung isa optimist, yung isa skeptic.
Hindi. Parang hindi siya. At sa authentic yan.
Ang alam ko kasi it
Authentic
was...
yan, authentic
It
yan.
was fed by a reporter in Davao. So,
Authentic siya.
I reserve my judgment until further notice. Halloween party
Mas
daw.
gusto ko si Fiona.
Matotroll tayo dito sa hindi oras.
Hindi, cute chick. Okay si Fiona, di ba? Di ba, Ami, si Fiona sa Shrek, mas okay.
Oh, sa Shrek. Sa Shrek.
Ito bang si
Oh,
Ami?
yan,
Walang
si Ronald
sakit
yan,
yan.
si Ronald.
kasi talaga before we run into gender and
Ami,
Oo
Si
nga.
Ami
Gender
si,
issues.
Si Ami yung ano
si Ami,
eh.
sabihan mo ha.
Hindi, parang
Ami ko
hindi
talaga.
ka mukha. Ano ba kayo?
let's go back to the
Ami talaga,
news
no?
of the day.
Mga
Teka lang.
taga-Philippine Star talaga.
Pati tayo,
Oo,
napapahamak.
napapahamak tayo ng Philippine Star.
Oh, kayo ba yung napapahamak? I see. Okay.
Kasi dami-dami AI ngayon eh.
Oh,
Dami-daming AI, malay ko.
Okay.
Hindi ko pa yung nakikita mabuti, hindi ko pa siya.
Okay. Sal
Hindi
Ins,
ko pa siya
Wala, Sal
napapanood ng
ano yung
close-up.
reaction mo dun sa
Binanggit lang
8?
sa akin eh.
Ano yung reaction mo sa 8 Sal Ins that were released today?
Parang ang baba nung kay Senate President.
Nagulat
Parang ang
ako
baba
doon.
ng marami
Baba,
sa
no?
kanila.
Yes.
Parang hindi kasama dun yung $1 million na...
Paribaring?
Oo.
Oh my, that's what I thought.
Oh,
baka
hindi,
hindi
hindi
galing
ba
sa
joint
kanya.
yun? Salen, you have to include the
Conjugal
salary of your
property.
spouse, di ba?
Hindi, bago mo kasi binigay, sa'yo nang galing.
To what extent do you have to include your spouse's assets? Hindi ko alam eh. It's
Hindi lang spouses yan, pati children yan eh.
Oo, but to what
Nandun
extent?
sa
Pati
form
nepo
yan eh.
babies.
Kaya
Tsaka
parang
conjugal eh.
nakakagulat yung ganun kaliit.
Ikaw,
ano?
ito nagpa-file dati, ano? Anong kasama dyan?
Anong,
O yung immediate family mo.
wait,
Anak,
teka lang.
asawa.
Oo, kasama, pati mga anak.
Oo, pati anak.
Included
Tapos yung
in properties
interest mo
and
in
their,
your
ano, and their...
businesses.
Not unless...
Bank
not-
account.
Kung sakaling papasok ka sa gobyerno, magkano salin mo?
Am I the one that's
Hindi
at
mo
trial
sagot ka.
here?
Not unless mag-asawa kayong nasa gobyerno, then you can file separately. Tama ba?
Tama.
Not unless, okay, got
Then
it.
you can file
But,
separately.
Does it matter na they signed the prenup? Doesn't matter, no? Kasi ibang topic yun
Hindi
eh.
ko alam yung prenup, wala akong ganun eh.
Well, hindi ka nagpapasign ng prenup, kaya pala eh.
Mga
that
ilang
explains
kotse
a
lang
lot
yun
of
eh. Yung, ano, yung
things.
amount na
kailangan ba
yan. Yung mga
Prenup.
yung
Baka si
18
Ed.
million.
No. Pero
Tingin mo si Ed.
Hindi.
Posible, di ba?
hindi rin yan.
Posible.
He's not savvy enough.
I'm
Tingin ko,
not.
pero posible siya. Dito sa tatlo na ito, siya yung posibleng merong prenup.
Oo nga pala.
Hindi, wala. Wala.
Kaya sabi ko lang posible.
Wala.
Pero anyway, you have to may
Like-
section dyan. How does the breakdown work? Yung total net asset declaration mo dapat kasama na yung sa asawa mo or may separate section for the
Alam ko
partner?
kasama na. Kasama na.
Dapat kasama na yung
Kasi it's
total.
conjugal nga eh. If you have a house, pareho kayo may-ari niya.
kotse,
Kasama,
account, di ba?
Business,
Ganun.
lahat.
Negosyo.
Not unless nga you're both in government, you can have separate filings. As,
Nung panahon namin, si
Optional lang
Dinky
yun,
Soliman
optional
yata yung
yun.
pinakamababa eh.
Sino?
Si Dinky Soliman yung pinakamababa. Nung panahon namin.
DSWD.
so dapat, in other words, what you're saying is dapat kasama yung whatever income and assets of
Ni
Heart.
Heart
Yes,
Evangelista.
yes. Kahit mga, hindi, kaso yung ring kasi, ang nagbigay, si Cheese.
Yeah, but it's,
So, ibig sabihin-
it's in the same family.
Ibig sabihin, nang galing sa kanya yon.
Oo.
Ibig sabihin, meron siyang $1 million.
ganong ano.
Diba? Eh, nakalagay dito, 18 lang eh.
Yeah, but even then, wouldn't that be...
But this
if
is the SALN for what year, by the way? This is 2025 or 2024? Ano ko na
di ba,
check.
as of this
Dapat yung
year yan?
pinaka-latest
Dapat
siya
na-
dapat.
Baka nabili na yung nung ring at that point. That's why the assets went down.
kahit na nabili, ibig sabihin may pambili ka.
Kaya, I'm
Kasi
just
baka kayo naubos yung ano.
Kaya ang that's what I'm saying.
Baka yun ang punto niya. But my question is,
Hindi, tawagan na lang natin ito si guest natin dito para mapaliwanag niya.
I wish.
Diyan, rin. But my question is ganito eh. Kung binigay mo sa asawa mo yung malaking halaga, yung malaking halaga na nasa asawa mo, should that also be reflected in the
Of course,
SALN?
of course.
Okay.
Dun sa
Of
under
course.
personal
Of
properties,
course,
including
of course,
jewelry.
Of course.
Okay.
You have to declare
So it should be
conjugal
there.
yun eh.
Yes.
Oo.
Okay, that's coming from somebody who used to file SALNs.
Oh.
Okay, as of December
Kasama yun.
31,
Hindi, nakita ko na yung
2024.
form ng ano eh, ng Salen.
Nakita mo na yung form?
Kasama dapat yun.
Okay.
Yeah. So under personal properties, then you can declare jewelry and ano. And,
Ano, ang dali
furniture.
kasing ipasa, itago sa asawa mo kung hindi siya kasama. Diba? Yung mga assets mo. So, kaya dapat kasama. Tsaka yung mga
Yeah,
kwan mo,
yeah, that's true.
yung Nepo babies mo. Yung Nepo babies ko kasi, di ba kasama kong bumili ng DVD?
So,
Na-pirated pa.
DVD.
so itong SALN list that we're looking at is as of December 31, 2024. Yung video that went viral of Senator Cheese Escudero gifting his wife a Paraiba ring was in 2024 din yata, if I'm not mistaken, or was that this year?
God.
But in any case, ang sinasabi mo is it safe to say that this is not accurate?
A little.
Okay, a little
Saka
lang.
saan ba nakatira yan? Ano, sa bahay lang. Sa bahay lang ang presyo ng real estate. Yun, kailangan real, ano, di ba?
Yes.
Current value ba ang dinideclare,
Kotse.
Ronald?
Yes.
Kotse.
O yung
Merong
purchasing value.
Yes.
May acquisition cost at merong current market value.
Current market value
Oo.
is what you need to
Ibig sabihin,
declare.
kahit nakuha,
But
kahit
in the-
nabili mo sa ukay, yung...
Kasi yung
Paraiba ba?
18 million na yan, ano
Paraiba.
lang yan,
Baka
bungalow lang yan
baka
sa
kasi
isang
nabili sa ukay.
middle class subdivision na.
Pwede rin.
February 2024 daw yung
pero,
regalo.
Pero pwede mo rin sabihin, hindi yun ganun, fake yun.
Ah.
Sabihin mo, fake yun, hindi yun tunay.
Wait,
So
Coke.
there are only two questions for him in short. Number one, is that ring real? And if so, how did you afford it with this SALN? And number two, if it's not real,
Hindi real.
hindi real. So our producer is telling us that yung ring was given in February 2024. So
If I
dapat
remember correctly,
sakop ng-
that the SALN form you can download, it's downloadable eh, kahit sa CSC website eh. The SALN form has their entries for acquisition cost, assessed value, and current market value. So 3 values
So
for
yung
each
net worth
property.
mo current.
Dapat.
Yung
Current
net
market
worth
value.
current, di ba? Masyadong maliit yung 18 million.
Edlin daw.
Wala pa isang kondo sa ano.
Bulong-bulong niya dyan.
Ano daw yung SALN mo?
Sakaling
What's it
papasok
gonna
ka sa
reflect?
gobyerno.
Hindi ko rin alam eh.
Hindi ko rin alam. You have to.
Hindi ko rin alam. Malay ko ba naman? Hindi ako nakikilang sa misis ko.
Binulong ko lang nga eh. Binulong ko.
Bubulong ka, naka-microphone ka naman. Dalawang to, labo ni dalawang to.
Yung mga kotse pa lang, yung kotseng
mga kotse
pumasok
pa
dun
lang.
sa... Yung mga kotseng pumasok dun sa bus sa EDSA carousel. Magkano na yon?
That's true.
Ang isang Land Cruiser, 5 million na.
That's true.
Tama,
That's
tama.
true.
Oh.
And yung point mo, Amy, which is yung many of these guys live in exclusive subdivisions, right? We're talking 50M,
Oh.
100M.
Hindi middle class, ha?
Yes.
Yung 18 million na, hanggang BFOBs ka pa lang yan.
Just for comparison, nag-release ng SALN si Raymond Democrato Mendoza, ang party list representative ng TUCP party list. Ang kanyang SALN, ang kanyang assets declared are 35 million. 36 million.
Mas mataas pa kay SP Escudero. Okay.
Including 19 million in cash on hand and cash in bank. And meron siyang, among other things, 4x4, meron siyang Land Cruiser na 6 million pesos na 2024
yun,
model.
6 million yun. Tama yun.
So, well, nakagulat na TUCP party list tapos
Doble
ganun
pa
ang
siya.
assets niya. Pero, dinideclare niya.
Trade union eh. Yes, correct. At least
dinideclare
dineclare niya.
Saka congressman.
Congressman.
Deputy speaker.
Deputy Speaker din.
Oh, is he deputy speaker?
Yeah, and may mga negosyo raw sila sa Cebu eh. That's what
Mga kanya, mga
TUCP was
taga
saying.
Cebu.
So, yun lang, just for comparison sake lang, versus cheese na nasa 18 million.
Kapantay ha, ni Risa
Ni Risa
Hontiveros.
Hontiveros.
Ni Risa,
Yung Risa
oo
ang
nga,
dami
yun.
maniwala eh.
Yan ang ano.
Cheese pa.
Oo.
Pareho lang sila.
Sabi ka nun, ikaw rin sabi. Anyway, interesting things lang.
Very interesting.
So nice to look at the numbers.
What's the penalty for misdeclaration on the SALNs?
Alam ko 1 to 6 years na kwan yan.
It's a criminal case.
Alam ko may kwan yan. May
Criminal
kaso
liability yan.
Well, 6713, di ba, Ami? Nasa 6713 yung salin eh.
Saka it's criminal.
So
Saka
pwede
kung
siyang
impeachable ka,
criminal.
pwedeng gamitin yan sa'yo.
6
Kaya
years
nga,
na lang
At the
kaya
same
nga
Prison
biglang
na.
tinago ng Supreme Court yung kanilang mga salen.
Tapos permanent dismissal.
At the same time,
Perpetual ban.
liable ka for civil forfeiture.
Ginamit
hindi mo
din yan
mapatunayan.
kay sino yung nako-warrant to? Si Chief Justice din, si
Sereno.
Sereno.
Si CJ.
Ginamit sa kanya. Ginamit din yan kay Renato Corona for not declaring his dollar account.
Tapos remember yung nangyari kay sa Marcoses, kaya na forfeit yung kanilang $600 million Swiss bank accounts.
not
Kasi
declared.
ang dineclare nila ng 1965 ay 120,000.
Kaya nga.
Yung sa akin,
Which to this day you don't believe clearly.
How do you think?
yung sa akin hanggang ngayon, binibilang ko pa eh. Iba kasi binibilang na matagal sa dami. Yung sa akin, binibilang ko sa konti.
Di ba may Gulf
Yan
Stream
siguro.
sabi mo?
Pag ganyan, may
Sabi mo
mga
may Gulf
dokumento
Stream.
ka. Yan yung sinasabi ko pala kahapon, nilinaw ko na, yung hinihingi ni Boying Remulla since he became DOJ, pag nag-file ka ng kaso sa mga prosecutor, imbis na probable cause lang yung ebidensya mo, it has to have
Certainty
a
of,
reasonable certainty of
Conviction.
Yes. Which,
Yan, reasonable certainty of conviction.
under which
Kaya
this
medyo
falls.
natatagalan daw ngayon para paghandaan nga yan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, here, this is another, I guess, low-hanging fruit. They can correlate that with the other documents, di ba?
Maraming low-hanging fruits.
marami
Pwede
na-
nila. Para lang ma-assuage kahit pa paano.
The easy,
Outrage.
mga charges that are easy to file based on existing evidence already.
Yeah.
Although,
Kaya
again,
sabi niya, mas madali daw yung malversation, true falsification,
Which is
na
also
non-bailable
non-bailable.
din naman, saka life term, kaysa sa plunder.
Of course.
Medyo mahirap daw yung plunder.
Of course.
Kaya tingnan mo, dami-dami na acquit sa plunder. Kailangan patunayan mo na kumita sila na binulsa nila
Oo.
personally.
tsaka graft din, mahirap
Yung
din
mga
yun.
na-acquit naman, nangyayari sa pagbago ng gobyerno eh. Wala akong naisip.
Kaya inordinate
nangyari
delay.
lang.
I-delay ng delay tapos sasabihin, inordinate delay.
Exactly. Okay.
Ayan, si Merimon, pasok natin.
Let us get some
Updates from the
updates.
Senate. We have Mobile Journal, Merimon Reyes there. Merimon, ang tao naka-magenta ngayon.
Good afternoon. Oo, at dagdag na lang din natin, nung October 15 sa usapin din ng SALN, nung umuugong na natanggal na yung restrictions dito, ang nasabi sa atin ni Finance Committee Chairman Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, ang SALN is self-declaration, it's an honesty system. So ibig sabihin daw, yung mga nilagay doon dapat honest, pero for example, to quote him, pag may hindi ka nilagay doon na negosyo o bank account, pag yan lumabas later on, pwede kang makasuhan. That's a ground for banning from holding public office. Yun yung huling nasabi ni Senator Sherwin tungkol dyan. And so far kanina, nung nakapanayam din ng media itong Senator Sherwin, sabi niya maganda na nga raw na balita na lumalabas na itong mga SALN ng mga senador, lalo pa na naging maluwag na rin yung restriction tungkol dyan. Pero on the aspect, sa usapin naman ng 2026 national budget, ang sabi ni Senator Sherwin, ngayon kasi yung last na hearing kung saan itong Finance Committee, pinakinggan nila yung iba't ibang mga civil society organizations sa mga transparency and accountability measures na maire-recommenda nila para mas maganda raw at mas maayos yung proseso ng pagbabalangkas ng national budget. Sabi ni Senator Sherwin, after nito, technical working groups ang gagawin para repasuhin itong budget na dumaan sa upper chamber ng Congress. And then by November 12, tapos na yon. November 13, plenary budget debates. And by early week December daw, yung BICAM, yun daw, wala pang specific date silang hinahabol, pero tansya na nila unang linggo ng December, BICAM na, and hopefully before the day of Christmas, malinis na raw, narepaso na raw, and maaari na raw pirmahan yung 2026 national budget.
Wow.
Meron namin ng Bolgambo sila kasi in-interview namin si Ping Lacson kahapon eh. Sabi niya mukhang okay naman daw sa mga kapwa niya senador na iba na nga lahat yung unprogrammed except, ito nakakapagtaka ha, except for the ODA funded projects. Tama ba yung sinabi niya yon na meron ngang ganong suporta dyan sa Senate?
Oo, Ami, ang sinasabi rin dyan ni Senator Sherwin, even ni Senate President Tito Soto, ayaw nila nung unprogrammed appropriations talaga, yung lump sum funds. Gusto talaga nilang matanggal ito para mas maganda raw na gagamitin itong pondo doon sa naka-enlist talaga programmed, lalong-lalo na yung mga items na nakapailalim dito. And even yung ayuda, nasabi rin ni Senator Ping, may 42 billion pesos pa kasi na nakapasa, na pumasa doon sa House Gab pagdating dito sa extra pa na pondo. Gusto rin nilang tanggalin ito, wag daw dapat malagay doon sa unprogrammed yung ayuda. And ine-expect nila, even na Senator Sherwin, na magiging mahaba raw ang discussion tungkol dyan sa BICAM. Pero for them talaga malinaw pa rin ang standpoint nila. Gusto nila tanggalin na talaga itong lump sum funds. Kasama na rin sa mga budget na tinitignan nila na maaaring tanggalin or ilipat sa ilang mga kakailanganing proyekto is yung 8 billion pesos worth ng farm to market roads na hindi pa part ng network plan mismo ng DA. Bukod dyan, dito sa side naman ng DPWH, yung around 70 to 80 billion pesos para raw masiguro na hindi magkakaroon overcosting or overpricing nitong mga proyekto. Yun yung isa sa titingnan din nila. Pero again, that will still depend sa magiging final submission ni Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon by Friday tungkol doon sa natira pang mga red flag na projects na kailangan pa nilang silipin.
Meron just some confusion here from yesterday pa actually. We were talking about this since yesterday. Yung kanilang rejection of unprogrammed appropriations ba, is that absolute o may qualifiers? Like for example, there was some discussion yesterday as to whether yung foreign assistance projects, are they exempted as per Ping Lacson or are they allowed as an exemption? Ano ba talaga?
Oo, Bok. So far, pagdating dyan, yung foreign assisted, same din yan doon sa flood control projects na budget ng DPWH. For the case of Public Works, tanggal na yung budget for locally assisted or locally funded flood control projects. Ang tinira nila dito, yung 15.7 billion pesos, pero foreign assisted flood control projects. Dito rin sa unprogrammed appropriations, tinitingnan din nila, ang matitira na lang yung mga foreign assisted.
So
pero so far
allowing
ang matitira so far tatanggalin nila yung unprogrammed, yung galing yan so far sa majority. Pero then again, hintayin pa natin yung magiging final na discussion nila once na mag-start na ang plenary budget deliberations. And nakita nga rin ni Senator Sherwin, November 13 magsa-start yung debates. November 14, supposedly may hearing ang Blue Ribbon. So sabi ni Senator Sherwin, ang plano kasi nila 1 o'clock in the afternoon hanggang magsawa raw gagawin yung mga debate dito sa budget. Pero kung matatamaan yung November 14 sa Blue Ribbon, yun daw yung ilan sa mga pag-uusapan pa kasama ang mga senador.
Inawil lang natin, Marymon.
Long story short.
Yung foreign assisted ay hindi tatanggalin yung mga flood control projects. Pero tatanggalin sa unprogrammed allocation. Ano, dati
Oo,
kasi
tama.
nilalagay yung foreign assistance sa unprogrammed eh. No? So ngayon, hindi siya ilalagay. Pero yung mga flood control related foreign assisted projects, hindi gagalawin.
Yes, tama. Oo, ayaw nila. Kasi sure naman daw na walang makukulimbat from foreign assisted
So, nasa-
na mga project, yung budget
So,
daw
So
dito.
programmed na siya.
Program siya
program
eh.
na siya o
Kaya
unprogram pa rin siya? Yung FAP FAP.
hindi siya
Yan yung
ilalagay
titignan
sa
natin.
program.
Kasi parang mananatili.
Ang i-retain dun sa unprogrammed na foreign assistance, yun lang flood control.
Kaya nga, program
Kasi
siya.
nirereklamo yan ng mga ng mga embassy eh. Sabi nila, bakit ina-unprogram nyo yung aming ODA?
Yes.
Kami,
Kaya nga hindi siya
regular na
unprogram.
funding namin
Program
yan.
siya.
Hindi nga,
So
that's
ang
what...
mapupunta lang dun sa unprogrammed na ODA, yung flood control projects. Yan lang ang i-retain. Tama ba yun?
So ano? Ano talaga? Long story short.
So far, yan yung medyo titingnan pa natin. Pero yun yung malinaw kasi, yung unprogrammed appropriations tatanggalin, pero yung 15.7 billion pesos na foreign assisted for flood control projects,
Flood
magsistay pa rin
control.
siya.
So
for
it's-
flood control projects,
So-
magsistay pa rin siya.
so it
Pero
stays-
yes, yan yung titingnan pa natin kasi sabi rin ni Senator Sherwin, yan din yung kailangan pag-usapan pa raw ng mga senador, yung magiging amendments, yung magiging changes. Kasi for example, kung may tatapyasan ng budget sa public works, saan nila ibibigay ito kung sakali?
Okay.
Yung 8 billion sa farm to market roads, pwede raw ibigay yan sa education, pwede sa health, pwede sa agri, sa labor. So marami pa talaga silang kailangan linisin dito sa budget.
Okay. All right, we'll leave that there for now.
Okay.
Thank you for your reporting, mobile journalist Marimon Reyes. In short,
Ano?
may iwan ang FAP sa unprogrammed for now. Yun yung
Pero-
sabi.
pero-
Hindi ko
Medyo malabo
titignan
eh.
natin kung ano mangyayari.
Sabi ni Marymon, may issue-an sa flood control, which means program siya.
Actually, nagulo din ako kahapon eh.
15.
Ang unprogram, walang program.
Kaya nga.
Ito kasi flood control eh.
Kasi remember, the problem started when they moved the FAPs, the foreign assisted projects, to unprogrammed. Dati kasi programmed yun. So doon nagkagulo. So what we're trying to find
So
out
ang
now...
ititira nila, yung flood, kasi gusto nilang tanggalin lahat ng flood control. Karamihan doon sa
Sinasabi,
flood control, di ba? I-hold.
Yes. Yung foreign assisted na
nila,
flood
yun lang ang
control is
pagkaintindi ko.
retained.
Ang i-retain nila, pero unprogrammed, yung
Alam mo,
flood
para simple,
control na
itin natin
foreign
kung gagawin
assisted,
Okay.
yun lang.
Okay.
Parang flood control pero unprogram.
Intindi ko.
Para simple, itin natin ang gagawin nila.
Anyways, we have to go on a break. You're watching Storycon on One News. Please stay with us. We'll be right back with a guest.
Nangalahati na pala tayo.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
And I'm Regina Lay, still with us, Amy Pamituan of the Philippine Star, and Ronald Llamas, our resident political heckler.
Ngumiti ka naman.
Hindi na kasi hindi heckler.
Okay. Okay. Also, joining us this afternoon, ICI Executive Director Brian Hosaka. Sir, magandang hapon and welcome to Storycon, Attorney Hosaka.
Yes, magandang hapon po, Ed, Amy, Regina, and Ronald.
Good
Hapon,
afternoon,
Attorney.
sir.
Thank you for joining us, sir. Finally, we have you. Sir,
Finally.
we understand na naglabas ng subpoena ang ICI for Zaldico. I think it's the second subpoena that you released, but the first subpoena didn't work. I mean, he still hasn't appeared. What makes you confident or what makes you think that a new subpoena will get him this time?
Well, Ed, nung tama kayo, no, yung una kasing pinadala, I had it checked, no, because alam naman ho natin na wala dito si former Congressman Saldico. So naturally po, hindi po siya makaka-attend. But we wanted to make sure that a second one will be sent para in case na baka ho by some miracle mag-attend ho siya, di better, no. But kung wala po, at least covered po lahat ng basis natin in proper and possible po mag-file tayo ng petition for contempt against him in the proper courts po. So naninigurado lang po kami para in case that hindi po kumbaga mag-file tayo ng contempt proceedings, covered po yung basis natin.
What would trigger that? What would trigger the filing of a contempt petition with the courts?
Unang-una po, siyempre, pagka hindi po siya maka-attend, then it means he failed to comply with the invitation or the summons or the subpoena of the ICI, no. So pupunta po kami ngayon yan. We will make the necessary studies and petition before the regional trial court.
Gaano kalayo pa, attorney, yung pagsampa ng kaso para ma-cancel yung kanyang passport? Philippine passport.
Yung ano po kasi, yung pag-file ng meron pong mga requisites dyan, no. Gaya nga po ng sinasabi nila, kuminsan po kailangan dyan fugitive from justice siya, no. Sa ngayon po kasi, if I'm not mistaken, wala pa pong kaso na ifa-file talaga sa kanya, no. Nagsisimula po dyan. Kung habang wala po, then we have no basis to file any petition or request for the cancellation of his passport. So nag-uumpisa po kasi doon yun .
Anong status ni
Pero
Speaker
pwede naman
Martin
siyang,
in relation sa ICI, attorney?
Again, sir?
Dumalo siya dyan
Medyo.
before, di ba? Anong status niya ngayon? Iimbitahan ba siya uli or for now, it ends there?
Isa-isa, Ronald, is in-invite namin siya. Actually, sinabpi na po namin siya. Then we will take it from there. Kung hindi pa rin po siya mag-attend, then sabi nga gaya nga po na sinabi ko, then we will look for legal remedies such as probably filing a contempt proceedings against him, which is basically hindi po siya sumunod sa subpoena namin. So, yun muna po yung tinitingnan namin.
Sir, he's asking about Speaker Romualdez.
Attorney,
Not
I was asking about Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Okay. Akala ko po si former congressman ko. Ano yung tanong po ninyo? Nagpa-request po siya ng ng resetting nung kanyang hearing dahil meron nga daw po siyang medical procedure na gagawin sa kanya, no. So mamumove po 'yon. Most probably po after na po nung mga mid-November po 'yan. Kasi may naka-schedule po kami ng November 12, November 11. But more importantly, we want to make sure na meron na po kasi kaming guidelines on the live streaming before we start with any of our hearings again.
But at this point, do you know where Zaldico is? I'm guessing you work closely with DOJ and the DOJ and DFA in terms of may idea ba kayo where his whereabouts are?
Wala po kaming information kung nasaan po siya.
So yung subpoena was served at two places, one to his home in Pasig and the other two?
In Pasig and yung isa po sa address niya po sa Bicol. Last known address pong sinusundan namin.
Okay. And it was
At attorney, paano kung ganyang mga hindi sumisipot? Can you still proceed with the preliminary investigation kung sakasakali? Can you recommend, halimbawa, sa DOJ, sige ito, merong ganitong posibleng kaso, can they proceed kahit wala? Parang magwe-waive na lang kung sakasakali yung taong yan ng right niya to reply.
Tama po kayo, Ma'am Ami. Unang-una, hindi naman po to fact-finding po kami, no?
Yes,
Hindi
yes. Sa
po naman,
DOJ siya. Oh.
oo, kung kumbaga po, on our part po, ang gagawin lang po namin is kakaalap po kami ng mga information, tsaka ng mga facts, at tsaka ng mga ebidensya po. And from there, we will make our necessary recommendation and referral to the Office of Ombudsman. So, pwede pong tumuloy yung sa amin. Kung hindi man pumunta yung mga aming resource persons, we will proceed with whatever evidence that we have para po masampahan eventually masampahan ng ombudsman to mga taong responsible for this mess po against these individuals po, no?
Kasi pwede nyo namang gamitin, di ba? May mga testimony na against him eh. In fact, medyo mabibigat na yung mga akusasyon sa kanya eh. So
Sino
pwede
pong
nyo i-recommenda yun, di ba? Either to the DOJ or to the Ombudsman. Sinasabit siya, kung ayaw niya sumagot, anong magagawa natin? Pero pwedeng mag-proceed yung case sa kanya.
Magpo-proceed po kami kung regardless kung mag-appear man sila or hindi po. We're talking of any resource person ho dito, no? Kung hindi po
Yes.
sila pumunta, kung as long as meron po kaming sufficient evidence at saka mga testimonies, kasi hindi lang po nakasalalay sa testimony ng isa, no? We want to verify, want to cross-check, want to see kung ano pa yung mga iba nating ebidensya. Now, once we have a substantial basis to make our recommendations sa Office of the Ombudsman, gagawin po namin yun.
Attorney, at tanong ko lang, dahil sabi nyo nga, may nagsasubpoena kayo. Usually kasi ang subpoena nakadikit sa powers na mag-contempt. May powers bang ICI na i-contempt itong mga hindi susunod sa subpoena?
Maganda po na tanong niyan, Ronald, no? Kasi under the EO 94, wala po kaming contempt powers. Isa nga po yan sa mga tinatanong sa amin, paano po mangyayari yun. But we're working with what we have. Gaya nga po ng nabanggit ni former retired Senior Associate Justice Tony Carpio, nabanggit niya po yun, and I kinda agree with him, that the powers given to the ICI is the, kumbaga, maximum powers already that can be given through an executive order. So we're making with what we have po. Ginagawa po talaga namin yung makakaya namin despite of our limitations to deliver our mandate. Alam naman po namin kung ano yung hinihiling ng mga taong bayan. And kami rin naman po dito we're appalled, medyo hindi rin po kami masaya sa nangyayari doon. But because of our current limitations, we're just asking more time kasi po nag-start talaga kami from zero. Wala pa kaming machinery, wala po kaming infrastructure, no, kumbaga, wala pa kaming staffing pattern to be able to deliver the mandate, no, fully. But hopefully po, pagka meron na po yan, tutuloy-tuloy, mas bibilis yung pagre-refer namin sa Office of the Ombudsman or wherever po pwede namin masabit yung aming referrals.
Follow-up question lang, attorney, ay merong bill kasi sa Congress para bigyan kayo ng contempt powers, etc. Yan ba ay dineklara na ng Presidente as a priority bill? Ikalawa, ay ang alam ko, wala pa kayong budget eh. Meron kayong sinubmit sa DBM na 40 million. Ano na status nun? Dahil ang hirap naman magtrabaho kayo na full-blown nang wala kayong budget. Humingi ba kayo ng pondo pansamantala sa intelligence fund ng Presidente?
So sa ngayon po yung staffing po namin puro volunteers pa po dito, no. Wala pa ho kaming pondo. So we're waiting. We've completed all our requirements, so to speak, no, yung mga ano ba yung ilan ng kailangan namin na staff to be able to do this, no, to deliver the mandate. At the same time, naka-base rin po doon yung aming budget, no. So ang intindi ko po, kukunin po to sa contingent funds po, no. Kasi po sa ngayon po wala naman po kaming maisubmit na budget namin in time for 2025, at the same time po for the next year 2026. So yun po yung dilemma namin, but we've complied. Hinihintay na lang po namin kung kailan maaprubahan po.
Sir, don't you find that funny that you've been in existence, you've been working for around a month already, without a budget, without a proper staffing. So I'm wondering what kind of support you're getting from Malacanang, which created you in the first place.
And actually, is that contingent budget of the president, of the OP? Just to clarify.
Ng ano po yan,
DBM.
ng executive
DBM,
po yan.
okay, alright.
Executive, I
Okay.
believe executive department po yan, hindi lang po sa OP yan. So, meron pang part po yata yan ng budget nila na sa mga ganito pong instances na newly created kami, naturally po wala po kayong pagkukuhanan ng budget. So, nakasalalay po sa contingent funds po, no? So, kumbaga, ito po yung pagkukuhanan ng budget ng ICI.
Konting
Yeah,
tip lang,
sorry.
attorney. Konting tip lang, atin-atin lang, ha? Huwag niyo pagkalat. Yung intelligence fund ng presidente, pwede kayong kumuha ron
4.5 million
immediately.
na tayo,
Immediately yun. Immediate.
That is what it's for, right? You're gathering
Atin-atin lang, attorney.
intelligence. But anyways, sorry, coming back to Ed's question.
Pero sir, ingay, it's hard to imagine, hindi kayo sumulpot basta-basta na lang on your own. The president created you because the president himself made mention of how big the problem is. So we're left wondering here, bakit parang hindi ata kayo nasusuportan as you should be supported with the urgency that should come with the magnitude of the problem, as also elucidated on by the President. Di ba? Ang Pangulo nag-broadcast ito, nagpalaki nito, at naglabas ng lahat ng ito, pero parang hindi ata tumumbas yung suporta na kukuha ninyo. And balikan ko lang yung tanong ni Ronald kanina. May team na ho ba kayo kung na-certify na as urgent yung bill sa Kongreso para bigyan kayo ng kapangyarihan? Kasi kung wala kayong kapangyarihan...
IPC yun iba yun eh.
Oo, baka.
They want to create an independent, ewan ko kung parehong body yan, independent commission na iba
Yeah,
yun eh.
there's a People's Commission
Yung
din eh.
kay Kiko yun.
Iba yun.
But there's
People's
also a
Commission.
proposal to give the ICI
Contempt powers.
itself
Bigger powers.
subpoena powers and contempt powers. I think that's different from the People's
Yes.
Commission pa.
Okay ba yun?
So,
Wala
ayun po,
walang-
any word on that, on whether the President is actually pushing for more powers for your commission?
Yung dalawang punto po, yung susuporta mo na muna sinabi ninyo kanina, no, before we went to the IPC. No. Ang ginawa po kasi ngayon, meron po mga tumutulong sa amin na mga agencies, one of which is the Public Attorney's Office, kasi po nangangailangan kami ng mga abogado. So in the meantime po, meron po silang pinadala sa amin na mga lawyers to help us out, no, which is very good po kasi nakakatuwa naman po dahil any help that we can get is welcome, no, kasi nga po kokonti po kami dito to start with, but mabuti na lang po nagpadala rin po ang PAO, and they've been helping us with the case build up. So on that basis po nagsisimula na po yung pagtutulungan ng ibang agencies. In fact, we've come up with the TWG on not only for prosecution but restitution po, no. Ito yung mga administrative remedies na pwede namin makuha na medyo in a bit would be faster. Now second po yung sa IPC po, no. Yung IPC po, I think that's in the Senate right now. Hindi ko lang po alam kung sa lower house or sa Kongreso, sa House of Representatives meron pong similar bill or panukala po na nandoon.
Pero nga sir, IPC is a different body
Animal.
altogether ata eh. Any word on whether the President is working to give your body any power to hold in contempt?
Kila de Lima yata yung bill na yan.
Ayun, di po
iba
proposed
yun
it
eh.
earlier eh.
Wala
Sa
po
House
akong,
yun.
baka lang po meron, but factual po, wala po akong alam po kung meron po talaga.
Isa pang linawin ko lang, attorney, may report kasi ngayon from Antonio Trillanes na sinomo niyo raw si Senator Bongo, pero meron yata mga conditions siyang sineset to appear. Tama ba yun?
Parang naglabas kayo ng statement, attorney, na hindi yun
invitation
totoo.
na ipadadala po kay Senator Bongo po. As a resource person.
Okay. So mali itong storyan to.
Baguhin mo, Ami. Baguhin yung storya mo, ha? Baka,
Hindi, meron
baka
ganito.
inaccurate yung storya mo, ha?
Kay Trillanes
I wanna come back.
Kaya kinaklaro ko. Ay, tanong ka na lang yung
Okay.
kumusta na yung mga
Wait.
rules nyo,
Ami,
live streaming.
Ami, hold on.
Parang ang tagal namang gumawa ng rules sa live streaming.
Ami, sorry.
Bakit ganon?
Sorry, balikan ko lang yung question ni yung yung topic ni Ed about independence because there's lingering questions around it and until now hindi pa rin klaro. The other, yung funding is a big part of the question, but the other side of it is, of course, you keep saying that you go where the evidence leads you, but if the evidence leads you to Malacanang, how will the ICI be bold enough to name names in that case? And also, if I recall correctly, you were handpicked by E.S. Bersamin, no? First to become in your previous jobs, first to become spokesperson for the Supreme Court and also for the GCG, if I recall correctly, the Governance Commission for GOCCs. How involved is E.S. Bersamin in all of this?
Well, first of all po, I was appointed as in the Supreme Court po as Supreme Court spokesperson in 2019, and thereafter po I was reappointed by two other Chief Justices po, Chief Justice Peralta and Chief Justice Mundo. And thereafter po I was appointed as commissioner sa GCG, the Governance Commission for GOCCs po, as commissioner by the President po. Now, dito po, I was recommended by Chairman Andy Reyes because he was also part of the Supreme Court at the time that I was there in the as spokesperson po. Now, as far as the Executive Secretary Bersamin is concerned, wala naman po siyang hand po dito sa ICI kasi nga po independent po kami. In fact, yung mga tatlo pong members po ng commission were all appointed by the President, not by the Executive Secretary.
Pero sir, di ba, this is the same office.
It's the same office. That's where I think a lot of the confusion comes from. It's the same office. So basically, you guys were all handpicked, you were appointed, but then you were not given the resources to run the commission properly because we had Yusek Claire Castro here a few weeks ago as well. We're trying to understand.
Can I just comment on that, on the fact of appointment by the President? Because the appointment, based on the executive order, the appointment would be coming from the President. And it was my explanation na hindi naman po lahat ng mga ina-appoint, doesn't mean na porkit in-appoint pa ng Presidente, magiging hindi na po independent yung commission or yung any government agencies. Under our Constitution po, mga huwes po natin, mga justices po natin, Chief Justice po, are appointed by the President and doesn't mean that they're not independent. In fact, they're mandated, they're supposed to be independent together with the other constitutional bodies such as the COA, the COMELEC, the Civil Service Commission, and even the Ombudsman. Hindi po nakasalalay naman ang pagiging independent ng isang commission po, isang agency, dahil lang po sila ay in-appoint ng Presidente. Nakasalalay po yan sa karakter po ng mga taong in-appoint dyan po.
That's true, sir. And that's a very good point, sir. But I think what Reg is pointing out is, of course, like many other independent bodies and commissions, you were appointed by the President. Unfortunately, hindi pa kayo binibigyan ng suporta to be independent on your own. So kailangan po kayo nakasandal pa at this point with somebody else. Kasi wala kayong staffing, wala po kayong budget. So far, unlike the other agencies that are independent by law, meron silang budget. Yun lang po.
But
that's what we mean. Aren't you constrained by all these problems na hindi kayo nabibigyan ng suporta even though you're supposed to be independent?
Yeah.
Independent in the sense that we sabi nga po natin kung ano pang ebidensya regardless kung saan po mapupunta yan, doon po talaga tayo pupunta ang commission. But as far as funding is concerned, wala nga po kami talagang budget to start with. So we need funding, gaya nga po nasabi. It just so happens that we're not part of the judiciary. We're not part of the Congress. Kumbaga po kailangan pong pagkuhanan ng budget or ng pondo. So naturally po, manggagaling na pa rin naman po yan sa sa GAA, which is 2025, na nakalagay lang po sa contingent fund. So as far as funding is concerned, doon po kami nakasalalay.
Right.
But doesn't mean that our decisions or our actions will not be independent.
Okay, thank you for that clarification, Attorney. Let's go to Ami's question about the rules for live streaming. Ami?
Kumusta na nga yung rules ninyo? Parang ang tagal nga kasing ang tagal gawin for rules of live streaming.
Unang-una po, wala po talagang naka-schedule na hearing this week at saka sa susunod po na linggo. And we will be taking that time to be able to craft our rules really, no. Pinag-iingatan po namin yung paggawa nitong rules natin dahil binabalanse po namin yung gusto ng taong bayan for more transparency and to be able to see the workings of the commission. Okay naman, sabi nga po ni Justice Andy, ang kailangan lang po namin na tingnan po dito is binabalanse naman po namin yan doon sa karapatan naman po ng mga individual na i-invite po ng commission as resource persons. At the same time, yung maaari nilang idawit, pinag-iingatan po namin yan. Sabi nga po niya is the commission hears the cry of the people for more transparency, but at the same time gusto pa namin pangalagaan yung integrity nung proceedings, at the same time yung investigation itself. So in that case, tinitingnan pa rin namin kung paano po to mapapakinggan yung cry for more transparency. At the same time, ayaw po naming maging political venue po yung ICI dahil baka po malihis yung aming investigation. At hindi po namin matukoy at matumbok kung sino po talaga yung mga may kasalanan.
Attorney, last week, yung isang senador may very bright, intelligent proposal na uupo yung oposisyon at saka yung mga religious cults diyan sa ICI. Did you ever talked about it sa ICI, itong very bright, intelligent proposal na ito?
Unang-una nga po, napag-usapan, pero ang ano nga po yun nga po, kung titingnan niyo po yung composition ng commission ngayon, wala pong politiko dyan meron po tayong retired Justice of the Supreme Court. You have a former Secretary of the DPWH who performed very well, who cleaned up the DPWH. At the same time, we have a technocrat in the person of Commissioner Fado. Kung titingnan niyo ho, wala pong mga politiko dyan Yan nga ho yung pine-prevent namin. Because once magkaroon po tayo ng politiko inside the commission or as a member of the commission, baka nga po hindi na po independent talaga yan. So as far as we are concerned, ideal na po ang composition ng commission.
At what point did you decide to open up the hearings? I'm just curious because we were pushing for weeks, civil society groups were pushing for weeks, pero for a long time the ICO was saying, no, you don't want to politicize it, exactly what you're saying now. And then suddenly, one day, things change. What was the tipping point? Or sino nagsabi to open it up?
Wala naman pong tipping point dyan. Probably, it was just the decision of the commission to heed the cry of the people, but at the same time in the statement of Justice and Chairman Andres Reyes, he mentioned that we have to craft the rules first. So yan po yung tinitingnan, yung gagawin namin. That's our priority right now.
Maasahan ba ng mga tao parang sa Senate yan or sa House, for example, yung pagla-live stream nyo? Yun lang naman tinatanong ng mga tao, yun ang inaasahan nila.
Hindi ko pa masasagot yan kasi until the rules are eventually approved by the commission, doon po namin mapapakita kung ano po yung magiging patakaran as far as the hearing of the ICI is concerned.
What about the previous hearings, attorney? Is there a plan to release, I don't know, transcripts, executive summaries, or...
Kasama po yan doon sa that will be part of the rules that will be crafted by the commission and approved eventually.
Okay, so you are considering that as well, not just future hearings, but the hearings that you've already conducted.
I mean, that will be part po kung isasama nila yan or hindi po doon sa rules and procedures on live streaming.
No, I mean that's for the live stream. Pero what about the previous hearings that you've already conducted? Kahit hindi, even if you don't release the recordings, is there discussions around releasing transcripts or summaries or whatever?
That will also be part of the rules and regulations to be approved by the commission.
Okay, So,
Pinag-uusapan
Kasama po
pa.
yun. Kasama po
okay,
yun.
so you are discussing it. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Kasi po narinig rin po namin yung mga request nga po kasi tinatanong nga paano yung mga previous ano. So that will be tackled also by the commission.
So good? Okay.
Wala pa nag-request dun sa mga ano ninyo? Yung mga dating in-interview nyo, walang nag-request na wag nyo na i-release yung mga transcript. Kasi may mga kumakalat na may nagsigawan daw, meron mga ganon.
Wala naman pong ganun mga request. At the same time, yung mga sinasabi po nagsigawan, mga nagwawala po. I mean, wala pong ganyan na pangyayari.
Okay.
Very orderly yung proceedings dito sa ICI. Tahimik po, no fanfare. Kasi po maliit lang po yung aming hearing room and it can only accommodate so much. But kumbaga we maintain formality and order po in our proceedings po. Wala pong ganyan na mga nangyayari na
Parang hindi
sinasabi.
mo ma-imagine si Senator Mark Villar na nagwawala at saka unhinged.
Well, that's one
Ayan na, si
incident.
Heckler nagsabi niyan.
That's one incident.
Narinig.
Rumor mo
Parang hindi mo
yun.
ma-imagine, di ba?
That's one incident we heard about. But the other thing that we
Yeah.
know for a fact is nag-walk out yung contractor si Sarah and Curly Discaya. Correct?
May mga-
According to
may
Justice
mga ganun ano
Secretary, sorry, Ombudsman.
Hindi naman sila nag-walk out. They just said that that they will no longer be cooperating or
Lumabas lang sila.
cooperating with the ICI.
Lumabas lang tapos hindi na bumalik. Sabi ni Ombudsman Remulla, di ba? That they walked out?
Yung walk out
Okay,
kasi,
anyway.
magtataob ka na lamesa, tapos alis ka.
I don't know what kind of walk out. Okay, but unfortunately, we've run out of time. We'd love to talk to you more, so we'll have you back on the show.
Yes, sir. We'd like to have you back,
ICI.
Yeah, salamat, attorney. Sana hindi ka ma-discourage na umulit. Despite
Maraming salamat to sa pag-imbita niyo sa akin. I hope you continue po yung pagmamatsyag natin dito kasi we need people like you po to keep us going dito po sa ICI.
Salamat,
Thank you.
attorney.
Thank you,
ICI
attorney.
Executive
Maraming
Director,
salamat po.
Attorney
Maraming
Brian
salamat.
Hosaka.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your time. That is all the time.
Pagtataob ng lamesa, nalalaman mo.
Ganun ang walkout. Tataob mo.
No, there's no...
Kailangan kasi ang walkout, magmamarka yung pag-alis mo.
Oh,
Hindi yung tahimik ka lang.
basta tumayo kasi baka nag-CR ka lang.
Okay.
Hindi nag-may I go out.
At least ganun ako mag-walkout.
Baka nag-may go out lang.
Thank
At
you
least
for...
ganun ako mag-walkout. Taobal lamesa.
Thanks for joining Storycon today. Ami Pumintuan, Editor-Chief of the Philippine Star. Ronald Llamas, a resident political pundit. Join us again tomorrow 4 p.m. for Storycon. I'm Regina Malay. That's the prompter eh.
I'm at Lingao, kapatid. We are one news, all sides all the time.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.